method actually can be used with every student in every subject, whether you're teaching history, English. So just follow along and start thinking about how you could use it also elsewhere. Today, though, I'm going to be presenting. My name is Dr. Linda Silbert, and my husband, Dr. Al Silbert, background physics, but he has worked hand in hand with me with all this. Otherwise, this would never be up here. You would never be able to see this on Zoom. So with that, let's begin. Let's go. Today, we're going to focus on beginning readers, struggling readers, and students with dyslexia. Can you do me a favor? Just raise your hands if you actually have worked with any one of these children. I'm just saying, okay, good. That's why we're here. Okay, so now, teacher creates the environment conducive to learning. I'm beginning with this because you need this before you can learn anything. So right now, I just want to tell every one of you here, please pat yourselves on the back. Say thank you for being a teacher. I thank you. Because being a teacher is not easy. People do not realize it unless you're actually in the classroom. I always say to parents, how do you feel after you have a birthday party with your 10-year-old and you only have 10 kids there for 2 hours? And they always go, oh my God, I'm exhausted. Picture a teacher every single day, 25 to 30 kids. It's not easy being a teacher. So thank you. Now, suppose I said to you instead when we began, I hope you have all your papers ready, and if you don't, you just weren't prepared. You just didn't listen. You didn't follow directions. How would you feel at that point? Or if I started giving you an assignment, I want you to take out a piece of paper, and I want you to put this up in the left corner, this put up in the right corner. Oh, wait a minute. You're not listening. Think about it. Think about it. You create the environment. I'm the teacher. I'm the one creating this environment. And children cannot learn, I don't care what program you have, unless the environment is conducive to learning. Right now, reflect, think back. Think back, did a teacher ever compliment you? Do you remember who that teacher was? Was a teacher ever sarcastic to you? Did a teacher ever insult you? Did a teacher ever embarrass you? Think about even college. Those things do not go away, and it stops learning immediately. It just crushes it. And I have children that will come to me, and they're in 6th grade, and they say, I'm not going to talk in class, and they won't. And I say, did a teacher ever insult you? Yeah, and they'll go into detail. And turns out it was their 1st grade teacher. And the teacher may not have even realized it, but it was a perception. They perceive this, and that child shuts down. Okay, so I go like this, the environment, that whole environment must be conducive to learning. Now, your words, which is what I'm talking about, saying thank you, that was a great idea. That was a good try. I'm proud to be your teacher. How many parents say this to their children? I'm just so proud to be your parent. I always knew you could do it. And I'd say to them, like, how did you do it? They go, I don't know. But they really feel good. At this point, what do teachers have to do? Teachers are one of their students' most important significant others. I actually did my doctoral dissertation on the antecedents of self-esteem in children. And first comes mom. It's a perception. How do you perceive that person perceives you? There's mom, dad, then come teachers. So people who are working with these beginning readers, struggling readers, people who have dyslexia, their words matter. And if they feel someone has insulted them, it's basically becomes a scar, and it's there, usually forever. Okay, now, again, I give some other ideas what to do to create this environment, because no child comes into school and says, I think I'm going to fail today. Every single human being wants that gold star. So recognize and applaud the effort. Be a good role model, which means you don't lose your temper or start insulting. Ensure the students feel part of the community. Remember Maslow's stages of development? Belonging. They belong in that classroom. Accept, support, and respect each student's uniqueness. And I'm going to move into learn right now with this little story. This mouse goes to the psychiatrist and says, I am so afraid of the cat. And the psychiatrist says, oh, you're a brave mouse. You're wonderful. Look at you. You're terrific. Don't be afraid of the mouse. Don't be afraid of the cat. You're a terrific mouse. Well, the mouse walks out feeling so important. And within 2 seconds, the cat comes from around the corner. That's the end of the mouse. What's the moral of the story? Yes, you have to build the child's feeling of self-worth or self-esteem, whichever term you want to use. But you can't build inflated self-esteem. It has to be based on accomplishments, and that means the child has to learn something. If he had taught the mouse how to get away from the cat, the mouse would have had the skills to get away from the cat, and he would have survived. That's where we come into the learn. Now you have this environment, but the child will not be successful unless they learn along with this environment. Okay, so how does this happen? Learn is an acronym for level, engage, activate, rehearse, neural change. In your packet that you received, you will see the whole star that represents learn. So you don't have to take notes on it. You're going to see it in a little while. Let's begin with the L. And I always go like this, level. You picture yourself so you can remember the word level. L, that's your left hand. Start at the level of the student and build from there. So how do you know? How do you know where they are? Okay, for this reading course, finding the level means learning if the student knows. So let's say you're beginning with a beginning reader, a struggling reader, a dyslexic reader. Upper and lowercase letters in random order. This is important. I know we all get reports from the school, we test and we go, oh, they're on 3rd grade, 4th month. They're at 2-1, 2nd grade, 1st month. I never knew what that meant. Okay, so I pull out a book, 2nd grade, but why do they keep missing words? What is going on? Why are they struggling? Because the child who picks up reading immediately isn't struggling. Okay, they're not struggling. They're not dyslexic. So what do you do with these kids who are struggling or beginning? Some of them you'll start right at the beginning with the letters, and before you know it, they're going to be off and running. But now, what do you do with the others? Actually go through the alphabet in random order. And I have actually had kids, middle school. I had a 9th grade boy once who said to me, oh, man, what is it? I don't know. That's a W? U? I never got that right. I had a little girl last week. She's turning 9, reading on 1st grade level. Did the letters, and then I go on to the sounds of these consonants, consonant blends, digraphs. Every single digraph, she was TH, she went CH, she went. So when we say decode the word, they don't know all these sounds yet. Go back and check. They have to know the vowels, long and short, CVC, so forth. And we're going to go today up through to diphthongs. Use any assessment that provides this information. Just look for an assessment that you may have, or look for one that you need to help these children succeed. I've come up with one, and you have it right in your packets. Okay, if you go to your packet, up in the right-hand corner, there's a number. We numbered every page. Go to page 1, and you'll see page 1, you see the phonics assessment. And see under, it says phonics assessment student form. And there's the student form. Literally, you go through to see if they have the phonemic awareness. That's number 1, 2, and 3. If you're looking at your form of page 1. Number 4, there are your letters in random order, uppercase. Number 5, lowercase. 6, there are your consonant sounds. 7, you go to your digraphs and your blends. You can do this on your own. Look at it. You'll see the blank one, by the way, number 8. Turn the page over at this point and just ask the child, do you know your vowels? And they'll go A, E, O, G, and they'll come up with something. You'll know immediately. It takes about a minute. That's it. And then you just walk through it. Where it says examiner under that column, it tells you exactly what the child needs to do at that point and what you have to do. We refer to our products. This is not an infomercial where you use anything you have. I'm just using mine because this is what I use. This is what I put together. And we give this away free right on our website, and you will have it now. You're part of the program. Go to number 2. Go to page 2. And you'll see if the child know where they are, how they progress. I mean, do they go past digraphs? Do they go past diphthongs? Goes right to multisyllabic words. Now go to page 3. I include page 3 because instantly you can get a feeling of how this child writes. How do they spell? Look at the penmanship. They may have dysgraphia with dyslexia. If it's dysgraphia, they may spell the word right, but it looks like a chicken walked across the page. If it's dyslexia, they will not have spelt the words correctly. They still can look like the chicken walked across the page. See how they write their numbers, because I included age, birthday, grade. 3 things I like. And these children sit and they think, and you instantly see how they function. You look at their pencil, the pencil grip. You see how they function. Can they think quickly? Can they create from scratch? And I tell them immediately, I don't care how you spell. It doesn't mean anything to me. Just write it any way you want to write it. And they usually come up with 3 things they like quickly. 3 things I do not like. Majority of children put down, I do not like school, I do not like school, I do not like homework. Or I do not like school, I do not like reading. One little girl did put down one day, I do not like my sister. Number 2, I do not like my sister. Number 3, I do not like Jennifer. I said, who's she? She's, that's my sister. So that's, I mean, you get a feeling immediately. I knew immediately there must be a little problem there in the family system. Okay, now go on to page 4 and 5. 4 and 5, look under where it says phonics assessment, examiner form. Okay, go right on to that. And right there, it shows the examiner how to pronounce the words, the letters, how to pronounce all your different vowels, long, short. So you have a clue immediately when you're doing this quick assessment if they're saying it correctly. Now, go to number 6, because number 6 is yikes. How do I get a quick phonics review? We were asked, my husband and I were asked to do a program actually in the city. And I was meeting with the administrator who was going to be working with the leaders, who was going to first be training the teachers. And I met with the administrator, and as I'm going through all of this, she said to me, what is CVC? I don't know what you're talking about. And we realized a lot of these administrators, it could be the leaders, they really have not had phonics in school. Even if they had it in school, they never taught reading. So what we did was we literally put together, and if you're looking at number 6, look at number 6, and you will see a quick phonics review. You can download it. You see at the bottom, it says free download, and it tells you exactly where to go. You can then go onto YouTube, and we have it with me speaking, going through every sound. So if you need a quick review, it's all there for free. Okay, next, we got through level. Level, as I said, is critical. So now all of you just go the environment, and you have level. Now you go to engage. This is your star. Here's engage. The brain engages the student. Okay, how are you going to engage that student? So let's see. You can learn what engages each child. One time I had a boy years and years ago. He was severely dyslexic. He was in 4th grade. And I put together an instruction manual for him that he could read. And God bless my husband, he took this kid and he made a table. The boy kept telling us, I want to become a carpenter. He followed the instructions that he could read, and he actually made a table. My husband worked with him. I've done this with kids with cooking because they can read it and then they can follow the directions. Engage them. For little ones, 4 to 6 years old, fun, playing, games, singing, drawing, moving. They need this. The 7 to 9-year-olds, these aren't your beginning readers. These are the ones that are getting into this area of they're struggling. Okay? They still want to play. Games. We'll see at the very end different games that you can do with them between Go Fish and Memory and War and all these different games. We even figured out how to play gin rummy using card games for kids learning to read. They want to play, but they won't do very silly things. The next activity which we're all going to do together is more for silly things, but the little ones love it. Your dyslexic readers, 10 and up, they'll play the games. I had a boy who was 15, 16 with me for years. The school was sending him over to me, and he was so good at Crazy Eights that he knew exactly what was in my hand. I couldn't figure out what he was doing. He couldn't read past 2nd grade, but boy, could he play cards. And that pulled him in. Find out what their interests are. But they will not stay engaged. I will lose all of you, first of all, with the environment, if I start insulting you at the beginning, okay? I will lose you if you're not at the correct level, because it's going to be too hard for you and you're just going to shut down. If it's too easy, you'll stay with me. Kids love doing things that are easy, but you're not going to progress. You're not going to succeed. And if they don't understand what they're being taught, most of the children, when I work with them and we're doing vowels, and they're kind of sitting, looking up in the air and going, A, E, you can think, what are vowels? What are consonants? Most of them don't know. And you literally they have to understand what they're doing. Put out the alphabet, pull out your vowels, put them back, take out the other letters. These are your consonants. They have to understand what they're doing and why they're doing it. And if they're given anything too much, too fast, that happens a lot. And sometimes it's out of the teacher's control, because you have to do this particular curriculum. They have to read up to this by this time. You can't control that. But sometimes we give these children too much, too fast. Most people only learn 3 to 5 things at once. That's why your zip codes are 5 digits. Your phone numbers, 334. Okay, your social security cards, your credit cards. Look at all of it. Why we don't teach that way, I don't know. Try to remember that children can only take in 3 to 5 things at one time. Now we're back to our star. You're all with me. We've got the environment. We've got the level. They're engaged. You've got to hold them. How are you going to hold them? Activate the mind and the body. How are we going to do this? Well, we're going to do this by singing together. And if everyone's there, if they can turn on their videos, and you'll all be part of this. And we're going to go to number 7. Go to sheet 7 right now. Okay. Yeah, all of you, this will be fun because you'll be using this in your classroom. This particular sing-along, I made up years and years and years ago. And it helps. It helps, and I'll show you how you can use it from beginning teaching letters right through. We're going to go right through to, you can do multisyllabic words, fluency, but I'm going to begin with the letters. Okay. Laura, can we put the, unmute everyone?
Yes.
Good. Everyone is here. You're unmuted. I see all these smiling faces. Okay. And you all have sheet number 7. And this you sing, it's called To Old MacDonald's Farm. I'm going to sing it first for you. You're going to pick up the tune quickly. Okay. Letters of the alphabet. That's where we have to begin. When at school, I learned my letters, A, B, C, and D. Remember, only 4 things at a time, 4 letters. And then I go like this. I've done it in front of all the children sitting on the mats in front of me. We've done it on Zoom. We're going to do it now with and you all say it, with an A here, and then
A
there,
there,
hearing,
A there,
therein, everywhere, and
A.
right. Now, we're going to stay there for a second. Now we're going to do only A, B, C, D. We're not going to do more. So then you would pick up and you go, when at school I learned my letters, A, B, C, and D. Keep doing this over and over again. Now you do your C. You start including you sing it only with C. Don't go beyond it. Sing the whole song just with C. Then you start including then you start making it more complicated. When at school I learned my letters, A, B, C, and D, with a
C,
here and a
B,
there,
here, C,
there,
and A.
everywhere.
Oh boy. C.
I have to tell, I see smiles on everyone's faces. The children, picture 5, 6-year-olds, they're rolling on the floor because they're giggling and they're giggling. Okay. And then you now include your D. And it does not have to be in one day. It's depending on the children, seeing how they're learning. You do it in one day, but you can do it different days. Because I've traveled from different schools to see how they're doing it. When
at school, I learned my letters.
A, B, C, and D. Okay, you did it beautiful. Then the next time you go to E, F, G, H. And while you're doing that, singing the song, and this can go on for September through January, see how quickly the class goes. Do it in the morning, even if you've moved beyond. For those little ones that can't remember, they're singing it over and over and over again. And you do it with upper and lower case. You don't have to just do, you then do it with, let me see, I needed this. Okay, upper and lower case also. So they keep picking that up. Now, go on to page, okay. Now go on to page 8. And by the way, when you're doing the alphabet, even if you're near the end of the alphabet, just trick them and throw in an A or throw in a B, and they're giggling. They just think this is great. Okay, your 9-year-olds, they may, depends on the child. If the child has dyslexia with ADHD, the combination, it's a double whammy, especially for the child and the teacher. So how do you keep them engaged? They think it's hysterical. They just go on and try and keep scrambling. Now we're going to show you how to do this with vowels. Okay, we're going to move on to this one. See the short vowels. First of all, most kids who are struggling, you say to them, what are the vowels? Well, they come from all over the place. They'll never quite know. And they're thinking in 30 seconds, they'll have it. 30 seconds. When at school, I learned my vowels. A, E, I, O, U. So all of you sing it with me. When at school, I learned my vowels.
A, E, I, O, U.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. You know your vowels. They know, they learn that. And I had 2 children in my past 100 years who went A, E. They couldn't get the rhythm of it. And I said to them, because they were older a little bit, and I said, do you ever hear the expression, I owe you money? And they said, yeah. I said, what does that mean? And they knew that, I owe you. Now I took it from 5 things they had to remember, 5 things, down to 3. I owe you. And it's familiar. It's already in their brain. I said, just put AE in front of it. That was it. They had it, A-E-I-O-U. So now your children will know the vowels without having to do any other type of work. Now we're going to sing it. And I'm going to use the vowels. And now you don't say the letter, you're going to say the sound. So let's just review. The sound of the A is ah, ah. Okay? The sound of the E is I, O,
Ah.
ah. And we're doing the short ones now. And the short U is ah. And if anyone doesn't remember, please go to that. You have the sheet and just you'll have the phonics review. I'm trying to see. It's sheet number 6. Go there. It's all free. You get a quick course. Now I'm going to sing the song and you're going to fill in the short vowel. Let's say we already spent a few days just doing A. Okay, when at school I learned my vowels.
A, E, I, O.
O, U.
A, E, I, O, U,
Here and then.
there.
Let's say we've already done all the vowels, and now I'm going to do it as the funny, silly one. And you say to the kids, "Do you want to play with all of them?" They go, "Yay!" Okay. When at school, I learned our vowels. A. You know what I love? Some of you are actually saying a, e, I, Yes, if they can do it. I didn't bring it in because some of them, it's so hard. They go, and they're sitting there. And so ask them, do you want to play it this way? And some of them go, yes. And I'm, no. I had one little boy step up one day. He said, this is making me very tense. I really can't do this. I'm very stressed. I'll do the cards. You sit down and you sing with them. I'll do the cards. He just was getting, so tell them that's fine. You don't have to. A lot of them just love it. So let's do the last part now. Okay, you can also play this. Okay, this time we're going to do it with, we actually can skip this if we want, but the long vowels, and we do it all over again. And now the long vowel of A is A. They say their name. A, long vowel of O.
O,
U,
I,
E. Okay, so now let's say, when at school I learned my vowels. A,
E, I,
O, U.
U,
Now we're going to do it with the long vowels. With an
E,
E here, and then
A,
there, here, and
O,
there, and
U,
everywhere, and
I.
whoa, isn't it hard even for adults? It's amazing. But do you want to keep their attention? This keeps their attention. They are having, and the kid who is the most, I mean, running around, they're sitting and they're watching this. It works on Zoom, you see it. And in the classroom, it's great. And one-to-one, it's great. Small groups, it doesn't matter. Okay, I did it also. You can, as I said, you can use it with anything. Let me try this with you. This is, use your sight words. All these children have to memorize all these sight words. Chunk your sight words into 4 at a time. And see if you can do it with rhyming, because it's kind of fun, or things. I put these 4 together. That would be fun for today. I have, let me see if I can put it in here. Whoops. Okay. Oh, here it is. Here's the words. Okay, you don't have the packet. It's not in your packet at home. I made this one up just before we got on here. So let's do this, because I do this with the kids also. Let's try it. When at school, I learn my words. Could,
and would.
You know how they get so mixed up with those words, and where and there and all those service words or red words, monster, whatever you call them. Okay, so let's try this. When at school, I learn my words of, could, and would. You do it that way. And even one that is so hard, I didn't write it up here for you. I have and you can make these up yourself. I have a whole list of fluency. I have fluency for CVC, fluency sentences for VCE. So I took my fluency sentences for my vowel digraphs. Okay, so I have here, you can just read this. Tiger, I don't know if you can read it. It says, tiger put a, look at
Snail.
put a snail in the blue pail. And you say to them, let's look for our vowel digraphs. And then they have to say it fast. So you say, I learn my sentences. And then they have to say, tiger put a snail in the blue pail. And they have to say these faster and faster, and even saying it slowly, but they're focused. You can actually take your CVC, take any cards here. We can do this one with, this is your short vowels, your CVC words. When at school, I learned CVC. And you can do the, anywhere you want to do the vowels with fan here, and
Cap.
Kara,
Man.
Sarah,
Dad.
everywhere.
Jack.
Okay, use that. Use any words you want. And you can do this when you start the class in the morning. You say, it's time, everyone come over, we're all going to sing. We'll do the sing along. And the kids love it. You can do Friday afternoons. Incorporate this into any of your lessons, any of your reading lessons. And it pulls them in, and it's just fun. We're now going to go on to pull out number 11, 10 and 11. You see your 10 and 11 in your packets. This is bingo. You can do this also on Zoom, the 9-square bingo. Do you all have it? Do you all see it?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, okay, good. Now, I'm going to give you a word list. This again, I just picked, you could do CVC, VCE, R controlled, whatever you would like. I'm using vowel digraphs again. Select any 9 words and write them on your bingo sheets. The children will do this. They write them on their bingo sheets. I had a boy, he was 11 years old, in a group of dyslexic kids. He would not pick up a pencil. I mean, the teacher, everyone was kind of, thanks, okay. He wouldn't pick up the pencil. But when I said we're going to play bingo, he didn't say a word. I just looked over, and he picked up and he starts writing them. I said, I don't care what it looks like. It's your bingo sheet. So your bingo sheet should end up looking something like this. You pick, obviously, and my husband filled this out. I picked the shortest words. So, and that's what most of the kids will do. They'll pick the shortest words to put in. You can play, if you're on Zoom, tell them to get pennies. If you're in a classroom, you can just take sheets of paper, make up those little paper markers they can just put on there. Or, this is what I do when I'm working one-to-one. I have them, as I say row, if I say toe, they take a marker or take a pencil and they cross it off, okay? If I say pie, they use it. Now at the end of playing, they can't use the sheet again, okay? And that's my goal. So next time we play, next week, or the end of the week, we say, who wants to play bingo? I do. They have to write them up again. They have to read the word from the word list. They have to find the words they want to put in. And so they have to keep making up the sheets. If you want them just to keep, you don't have the time for them to sit and write them, just have them use markers instead of actually writing on it. But if you have the time, the writing right on it is just absolutely wonderful because they have to do it again. Okay, now we're going to move to go back to your packets, and everyone actually can be muted again. Okay, Laura, you with me? Okay, everyone.
Yep.
Okay, good, thanks. So everyone will be muted again, so you don't have to worry about making any noise. Let's look at the first activity. It says make a growing word list. This is another fun activity that you can do while you're working with a child, let's say, or you have them in groups, or and you can also do this on Zoom. Okay, take this. It's a regular paper chain, but you write. If you're doing the alphabet, you begin A, B, C, and D. They write it, use pastel colors or white for the chain, and just put an A. And every child has A, B, C, D. Next time when you get to the E, F, G, H, you say to them, oh, everyone, let's pull out our paper chains. Okay, and they now have their paper chain. They're watching it grow. You can do it with the alphabet. You can do it with CVC words. As you keep introducing more words, you tell kids what should we put on the second link? And all the kids together, let's say, let's put on cap, or let's find an E, a short E sound. Let's make up four of the chains, the links of just short E sounds, or our controlled words using ARs. Anything. You can be as creative, and especially the fluency. So now they're writing sentences, 4 sentences on their chain. Okay, you can give them the sentences and they can copy them. Or some may say, I want to make up my own. The good thing about this is that they're doing it. Sometimes when you're sitting just filling in papers on a desk, just the workbooks, there's no processing. Here they have to get it around the piece of paper. They're thinking. Their goal is to make their chain longer. Okay, this one is, the kids love it. I've gone into classrooms where they have them hanging on the ceiling, and this is their letters, or this one was their paper chain that they made for using the VCE words. Next, look at sheet number 13. This is one I've always kept just in a separate box, where when the kids finish their work, they can walk over and you can make up how many words can you make. You've all done this probably growing up yourselves, but it still works and the kids still like it. For example, and I gave you here 18 words. You can use 2 words, like the last one, 18 is picnic basket. If you're gonna select your own words, make sure you have enough vowels in them, okay? They use all these letters and they make up as many words as they can think of out of all these words. And some kids do 1 or 2 and they walk away and they're not that interested. Other kids they're yelling, I'm up to number 46. I mean, they're so excited. It gets them engaged. Another one you can do, which this is an activity. This is an interesting thing. It's number 14. Look for number 14. Where's my book? I don't know where it is. It's not here. Okay. I did this over the summer. But you can do it in a classroom. You can do it anywhere. You start a story. Here it is. We actually published it. And there were 7 children who wrote this book, all dyslexic. They're all between the ages, they're, I guess, between 11 and 13. I think maybe most of them were 11 and 12. There were 8 of these children. We met 2 hours for 7 weeks during the summer, from 9 to 11. And we begin just having bagels, and they brought their own beverages, and they had a choice of cream cheese or butter. And we would talk about being dyslexic, what it was like. Then we spend the second hour and we wrote a book. And they go, I'm not writing. I can't. No. That's how it began. They didn't know each other. They were different people. I invited them who want to sign up. The hardest part was during the summer before the pandemic. So this one was going away for 2 weeks. These dates, this one wasn't going to be there at the end of the summer. So I would end up with 4 kids, 3 kids, some 6 sometimes. And I said, what do you want the book to be about? What we all voted, and each one came up with ideas, and they finally came up with the idea that we wanted something to do with saving our oceans, which was really amazing to me that they were thinking of this. And they voted, and it was unanimous. They wanted saving our oceans. I said, okay, Well, we're all playing cards and we're playing games. You'll go to the writing table and you'll start the story. What should we call it? And they came up with a title. And is it a present, past, future? They came up with all this. They were so bright, and they were sitting there with severe dyslexia and dysgraphia. And so I said to them, okay, we have the title, we have the setting. You're going to make up the characters as we go along, and we're going to time it. Who wants to start? And they all said no. Finally, one kid said, I'll start. And then we voted, how long should he have? 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes? And they voted 5 minutes. So I give him the paper. Here it is, 5 minutes. And he had to sit and write the story, introduce the story. 5 minutes, I said, now, if you're in the middle of a sentence, it doesn't matter. When that buzzer goes off, you're done. The next child goes up, you come here and we'll continue playing these games. Whoops, okay, got it. So I said, okay, then we're all gonna continue. The buzzer goes off. Now the second one we started, I said, don't worry about spelling. Now what happens is, when he was done, he had to read to the rest of the kids what he wrote. So now he's reading what he wrote. They're all listening. The next child goes up, knows where he left off, even if it's in the middle of a sentence. They continue for 5 minutes. I remember the next boy said, I'm not doing 5 minutes. I said, okay. He said, I'll do a minute. I said, fine. And we all voted, it's fine, a minute. At the minute, he said, no, can I keep going? Well, he kept going, okay? 5 minutes, I said, you got to stop. Next one went up, book. Now, when they all left, now, let me just go back. Each one then had to read from the beginning to what they wrote. Now it's up to the next child. So they're reading this story, okay? And it was so much fun. And they go, why did you do that? I didn't want him to do that. I said, well, this is how we're writing the book. After they leave, I type it all up without the mistakes. Okay, if it was a sentence fragment, I fixed it. And when they would come in the next week, who was ever there, I'd read through what we had so far, and I'd say, I know you wrote this and this, but I fixed it a little bit, the way you just have to fix things up sometimes. And that was it. By the last session, they were fighting who was going to complete the story. And each one came in saying, no, here's how I want it to end. Another one said, no, I want to finish it. They were arguing. It was just, I could have cried. And by the time they left, they made all the illustrations. I literally published it and sent it to, if anyone sees Valerie Sharp on here, she's our editor for she actually looked at it. She got it together. One of the children started the cover, and we have everything in here with their names as the authors. You'll see this. It's amazing. This is all their writing. And this was not all year. This was in 7 2-hour sessions, and most of them weren't even there. They're on vacation. And when they would come in from vacation, they'd say, I want to begin writing because I know what I want to do. And so we presented these to each student at the library. We went to the library. Each one got this with an award. And I have to tell you, it was so exciting. And at the end, one of the children's fathers walked up. I had never met him. He used to drop off the daughter. The mom used to come in and bring her. But when the dad brought her, he never came in. Went on for a few years. I never met him. He walked up and he said, I'm so-and-so's dad. And I think I'm going to start to cry. He said, she inherited the dyslexia from me and my guilt all these years and her struggling. And he said, she's an author. She wrote, and the kids were hugging them. They were standing there hugging these books. You don't have to go to that, that extreme where you publish it. Not everyone has Valley by their side. But you can do it as a class. Just look at number 14. It gives you the directions. You pass the paper around. And sometimes when I do one-to-one tutoring. They want to start the story. I say, I'll start. Who should start it? And then we go, oh, it's a minute. and we go back and forth. The kids never last a minute. They go on a good 5 minutes. I tell them, oh, minute's up. They go, okay, and they give it to me. But they go on and on and on writing. There's no stress. It's just a lot of fun. While you're doing this with some kids, others can be working on your sheet number 13. Others could be working on their chains. The next thing, pull out the sheet number 15. This one's write fun poems. One of the best forms of poetry for dyslexic kids, kids struggling to read or beginning readers, haiku poems. And I'm sure you all know that haiku poem. It's 5 syllables, 7 syllables, 5 syllables. That's it, 3 lines. They tell you right here, it gives you directions what to do. And that's how you do your haiku poems. The kids love them. They're usually about seasons. You can actually have a thing where kids can pick how many words can you make during writing time or work time. Other kids could pick up, they can start writing poetry. They can start writing their poems. This is a great activity when you actually start doing syllables, okay? Because you need your 5 and your 7 syllables. Right now, I'm going to, I gave an example here, flowers blossoming, roses, tulips, blue pansies, there's your 7, green grass, pink petals. There's your 5 syllables. Now, can you write your own poem right now, a haiku poem for snow? Write a haiku poem for snow. And Laura, can you unmute everyone because we'll see if anybody wants to read their poem and share it with us.
Sure.
Okay, thanks. Is there anyone ready with a poem they'd love to read? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Okay. Called Snow Haiku. Snowflakes falling down. Softly on the ground they land. Snow is so pretty.
Yes, she did it. She did it. That's haiku. And that's, anyone else want to share one? That's perfect. That's exactly what this is. Have you done these before? The haiku poems? You have, yeah, good. Anybody else? Oh, okay, good.
Falls in white silence, covers my grass and trees. I wake to beauty.
Oh my God. This is so great. This is so good. Have you done these haiku poems also?
Yes.
Yeah. It's so good when you're starting syllables. And the kids, and they really focus. They sit there and they focus. I write them too while the kids are doing them, and we share them. It's so good just to be right with the children. Okay, I'm going to go, because of time limitations, I have to move on. We can mute everyone again so no one distracts anyone. And now we're going to go to activity number 16 and 17. This one, I have to tell you, I do with a caution. Be very careful. You know, Math a Minute, Beat the Clock, all these games. Some kids love it and it helps with fluency. It truly helps with fluency, but there are children, talk about the environment, they will shut down. Okay, we have 2 grandsons who are now 17, but I remember when they were in 2nd grade, maybe 3rd grade, one of them loves to see how fast he can remember things. And the other one remembers the same list, but he needs time. And Math a Minute, one used to say, oh, goody, tomorrow's Math a Minute. I love this. And the other one would go, oh, I don't want to go to school. And he would literally just say to the teacher, I'm not done. He said, I could just tell her. He created so much stress for this kid. Use this only for the children who love that. And it definitely helps with fluency. What I used in numbers 16 and 17, I used an old list, the most commonly used words, ranked by their frequency, how often they're used. But there's so many words out there. And only give them, again, 1 to 5 words. Don't go past that. Some of them are going to say, I want to add 6, I want to add 7. Do it then, if they want to do it. And then say, it's okay if you go back to 5. It's fine, don't worry about it. But follow the child, just follow the child. But here's words you can use. And this is, for the child who likes it, they love it. But don't push the child who can't do it. Okay, then now what we're going to do, we're going to go on to our star again. And so we have level, engage, activate. We just did a lot of things. R, rehearse, rehearse, rehearse. And I tell the kids, if someone is in an orchestra, they're going to rehearse and rehearse and rehearse. I said, look at all your baseball players, your football players. They have to practice, practice, practice. I don't care what we call it, repetition, rehearse. It cannot be overstressed. Some children, you teach them, they learn it immediately. These are not your struggling readers. These are not your children with dyslexia that we are all working with. Those are the children that will learn to read, they'll learn it immediately, they're done. But the other children need to rehearse. This sheet, you all have it here. You can use it with your students. They can take it home, bring it back. You can do this with Zoom. Everything I'm showing you, you can do with Zoom. They actually put down the day, like they would put down Saturday, October 3rd, 20 minutes, the activity, and you pick any activity. You could play a game for 20 minutes. You can, any of the activities I just gave you, making the paper chain, whatever it is, and who worked with you, the other participants. Was it at school with your teacher? Was it at home with grandma, with mommy, daddy, sister, brother? Grandma and grandpa play a big role. So this sheet you all have, give it to them. Use this because it means it's not that, did you do your homework? Okay, it isn't just that. It means something. They're filling this out. This last slide now that we're doing, the strong learning method. Remember the level, engage, activate, and that's number, here it is, 19. You all have the star. Neural change. That means store information in long-term memory by changing the neurons and their connections. That is, here is the star showing you the whole learn method. It's all here. Okay, now, how do you do that? You have to reassess. You go back, you reassess. Now, once you reassess, you see where have they gone, what level are they up to, what should I be working on at this point? But sometimes there's obstacles to learning. What happens if the student stays at the same level or regresses? First of all, what happens to the student, they usually emotionally just shut down and they put that shell around themselves, or this wall goes up, they can't function. What can cause this? The environment, or maybe you began at the wrong level, or usually they feel stupid. They're not picking it up. Maybe they're not practicing. You'll know if they're practicing by what they bring in for the purposeful, playful practice sheet. It's practicing, but it's purposeful and it's playful. They'll practice and they'll write it down. If you see the sheet is empty, contact the parents, see what's going on. They may feel embarrassed. Something a teacher said, like this little boy, he was in 6th grade with me, and the 1st grade teacher said it. It didn't go away. And we had to get over that. There was an emotional block. Some things you can't control. The school board may come up with some kind of something that you have to follow, and you see Johnny over there can't follow it. I mean, sometimes the school boards come up with something, and basically school becomes a conveyor belt. You've got to move from here to here, about here, and now all of a sudden you're on this level, but the child is still here. They didn't learn yet. And they're now going into learning at higher order thinking, and some of them haven't learned the basics. You can't go on to higher order thinking unless you know what to think about. You have to have the vocabulary, you have to be able to read, you have to be able to start math problems. and know how to do arithmetic and what are numbers, you can't move on. Some of them, as I said, may not know the alphabet yet, but we're moving on. And if it's the school board or the administrators, you can't do much about it. You can go to talk to someone, see who you can connect with, and let them know it's not working. But it's difficult. Or you can have a pandemic. And I keep saying, they always say, don't reinvent the wheel. The poor teachers had to invent the wheel overnight. It was a lot of work. Okay, next, you can control the environment, how well you're prepared, how you address each student's uniqueness. Because you have to see if students will shut down, if there are physical issues, which means it could be a hearing loss that no one picked up. Or maybe it is written up that this child has a hearing loss. There could be a visual problem. There could be dyslexia, dysgraphia, dyscalculia, social issues. The child may be afraid of bullies or someone in the class or his peers. Emotional, as like this little boy who just shut down and from first grade on, and emotionally we couldn't pull him back. Educational issues, which are, I call them the three shuns. It ends up with how they study, their homework, do they bring it in, do they do it? Because of a lack of motivation, disorganization, and procrastination. The three shuns. And the terrible twos. Some children just go too slow and they can't keep up. Others go too fast and they're skipping and they're making mistakes. Sorry. They're erasing constantly. Many children right now are too tired. They are not getting enough sleep and too hungry, okay? Or with the pandemic over Zoom, it is so difficult. I mean, you can come up with your own too. Too bored, too hating Zoom. So many kids have become allergic to Zoom. Okay, right now, I want you to pull out sheet number 20. And Laura, can you unmute everyone again, please?
Sure.
Thank you. Pick up sheet 20. And let's just see, it gave you a word bank on the bottom. So you don't have to worry about spelling or exactly what was said. The words are there, everything I just went through. And do this with your class. When children leave, you've taught a whole day and it is exhausting. And you prepared for it and you worked. And they go home and the parent says, how was school? Good. What'd you do? I don't know. Well, do you remember anything? No. Or they'll pull out a sheet and they don't remember what this was about. Review what happened. Because learning doesn't just stop in that classroom. You have your LEARN. Find out, did they pick anything up? Okay, let's do it together. I'll let you say the answers as we go along. If students are not engaged, they will not
Learn.
Thank you. 2 activities to help keep a student engaged are,
Singing songs and playing games.
you got it. In order to learn, a student needs to blank over and over and over again.
Rehearse, practice.
Practice.
Practice, rehearse, and practice. You got it. In order to know if a student has learned the material, the teacher needs to
Yes.
Yes.
which one?
Reassess.
Reassess. Yes, you have to keep assessing, and you don't need long assessments. The one you're holding in your hand there takes literally a minute. I see children every week, the same kids. Every week they come in, I go right to, I don't begin with the alphabet. I begin where I know they left off. And sometimes I'll go to the line before just to make sure they're still with me. If I see I'm losing them somehow, because I don't see them for a week or two. Okay. Number 5, 4 of the main issues that are obstacles to learning are?
Physical issues.
Yes.
Emotional issues.
Emotional issues.
Social.
You've got it. It's the physical issues, the emotional issues, home issues, and the other one. Physical issues, social issues, emotional issues, and home issues are your 4. And the last, what are the 3 shuns?
Okay.
Disorganization,
procrastination.
Procrastination.
Lack of motivation. By the way, motivation, the research on motivating children, it's motivating adults, comes from within. And it's very hard to motivate someone if they're not motivated. Okay, that's why I just switched everything I've done for the past 40 years is playing, because children will play. Okay, and that will motivate them. Procrastination, if you have a child that procrastinates, sit down calmly and say, let's see, where should we begin? I'll help you get started. If you do that, just like what happened with my program when they had to write the book, nobody would get up there. But if you start a little bit and they'll keep going, you can walk away. That's procrastination. Disorganization, help them. Instead of so many teachers go, no, you didn't bring in your homework, you're not going out for recess. That's it. It's not giving them a strategy how to remember the homework, because we immediately think they're doing that on purpose. Okay, you have to help them. A child, the prefrontal cortex, it hasn't developed. They are going to forget things. So as adults, instead of criticizing them, help them. See if you can come up with a strategy. Write things out and let them have a check off. I mean, I had a 10-year-old boy say to me one day, my mom wants me to walk the dog in the morning. I have to get up. I have to get dressed. I have to brush my teeth. I have to comb my hair. And she wants me to walk the dog too. How much can a 10-year-old do? And that, I mean, it said it all. It just said it. Remember, these are children. Help them. Okay, that's number 20. And let's see where we're going next. Stay with me if you're interested in this. We'll show you the things my husband and I put together, the Strong Learning Games. And because you are here today, we're going to give you 20% discounts site-wide, and we'll give you the code very soon. And if you want to order for volume or school-wide discounts, just contact us. Just let us know. These are some of the products that we have. We have books, we have games, we have actual reading programs that schools are using. You can use it as the reading program, or you can buy one deck of cards. It can be, that's all you can buy. So you see all the resources. By the way, the 20% off is even on, we have a lot of assortments where you automatically get 10% off. If you order with this code, because you were here today, you'll get another 20% off on top of the 10. Okay, so here's just a lot of the products. And if you go to the website, which I'll give you again, you'll be able to, I recently was in, we even have puppets. So because in our books, every story we do is also in play form for fluency. And our stories are maybe 2 pages long. I'll show you there. You see some of the pages. Everything has a little bit on a page. That's it. Very little. And then it's in play form. So the kids will select who they want to be. And just to give you a little idea of what our whole reading program is about, if you want to hang around another few minutes, it's a 6.5-minute video, how to incorporate strategies in your classroom as well as additional strategies. It'll all be part of this video. Okay, here we go.
You ready?
Yeah, you're all ready? Tiger Tuesday Reading Program is the funnest reading program in the whole wide world. I created this program because children who start to read, some of them just pick it up and they're fine. But there's a group of children that struggle. And those are the children that have to practice and practice, and they don't want to. They do not want to practice. I don't blame them. It's hard for them. So I started creating games and plays and stories and Tiger.
That doesn't count. Wait. Oh yeah, that doesn't count.
The thing that makes the Tiger Tuesday reading program different from other reading programs is that it is truly interactive. It is truly multisensory. It is a totally comprehensive program that includes games, comprehension, vocabulary development. It includes writing, spelling, comprehension, and phonics. Everything's in here. everything. There are 5 different levels. In each level, there's a fun book. The fun book is made up of 7 chapters. We go from the alphabet to the consonants, and then we go through the CVC, consonant, vowel, consonant, like HOP is hop, CAT is cat. It then goes on to the VCE, vowel, consonant, silent E. And then it goes on to the vowel digraphs, the arc control, and the diphthongs. By the time the child completes all 5 levels, they will be at the end of 3rd grade, beginning 4th grade level.
They stopped everyone they met and asked, "Have you seen a big tree next to
Every level of this program begins with the teacher reading the children or the mom reading the child the story of The Tale of Tiger Tuesday. The Tale of Tiger Tuesday is a story about a little boy who was a doll, and he comes alive, and when he comes alive, he wakes up the whole Tuesday street that Mr. and Mrs. Tuesday have created. And now they have the happiest street in the whole wide world.
Welcome to Tuesday Street. It's the happiest street around.
You begin every fun book by going through the story so the children know the setting and they know all the characters. And the characters are always Tiger, Thurman his pet dog, Marshmallow his pet frog, his mom and dad, his older sister Trudy, older brother Tuffy, and his 2 younger siblings Tommy and Tammy.
The first word is cake.
A very important part of the program are the games. There are flashcard spelling games that kids can compete with one another and be timed. Done. There's a deck of cards that they can play 5 different games with. They can play memory, Go Fish, War, Old Maid, and Crazy Eights. Then there's the Lotto game, and that works with learning all the different families, the word families. So by playing, they're learning to read. Research has shown that if you are having fun, you will be engaged and you will learn. You're not anxious, you're not thinking of other things, you're just playing. And once you're playing, you're going to learn.
I think I know what it is. It smells good.
Every story is also in play form.
Who's going to be Tammy?
And they'll tell us, you know, when we're working together, I want to be Tuffy, no, I want to be Trudy, no, I want to be Marshmallow. Kids love highlighters, and they all get so busy deciding which color to use, and they're busy highlighting every line. This keeps them totally focused. On top of it, we have scenery that we've made that the teachers can download and put it right on their smartboard so that the child can perform the play right in front of the scenery.
Alligator, elephant, inchworm too.
Singing is an important part of this program, especially for the little preschoolers and the children learning the vowels. That's one of the most difficult things for the little beginning reader, especially if they have even a little bit of dyslexia. They cannot remember the vowels and the sounds that go with it. So there's a song that the teachers have. It's right in their teacher's guide, and the children have it right in their fun books.
When at school I learned my vowels, A-E-I-O-U.
The repetition helps them learn all the vowels and the vowel sounds.
The best part about the Tiger Tuesday reading program is that there's something for everyone. So if a child's more interested in the games, they're going to be eager to play the games. Then there are the children who are really into the plays and becoming the characters. And then of course you have the children who enjoy doing the fun book activities, and that's how they're getting the reinforcement that they need.
You guys are going to work together to try to make the word as quickly as you can.
There's a detailed teacher's guide and parent's guide. When they come across even introducing a new sound, anything, there will be a rule. So the teacher and the parent, they don't have to worry they may not know these things. Everything's in that teacher's guide.
Can everybody turn to page 56? The teacher's guide is really user-friendly so that you can see what is the objective of the lesson, what materials do I need, what's the lesson going to look like from beginning to middle to end.
They even made a big shaggy dog named Thurman and a frog named Marshmallow.
Children love to take home. They can take home Tiger, Thurman, or Marshmallow. And when they take them home, it's usually for a weekend, they take home the journal. And on the journal page, they fill in who they met, where they went, and there's also a whole little part of the page where they can draw exactly where they went with Thurman or Marshmallow or Tiger. The reason children love this program is because reading was negative. By the time they're done with this program, they can read and they're having fun reading. It becomes a very positive thing. And they don't even realize that they've been practicing and practicing and learning to read. They just know that they've had a lot of fun and now they're reading.
We love Tiger Tuesday!
You're all back? Okay, welcome back. And just to let you know that the teacher, the girl, the woman, is Betsy Lewis, but is now Betsy Lewis Silver. She married my son. My son, he actually produces TV shows. He made the video. And he brought Betsy in at the time, which it turned out that now we have 2 grandchildren. So anyway, so that's who Betsy is. So those are the few things that changed. And now what we're going to do, we're going to go again into questions. So anyone, Laura, do you have any questions? Please write in your questions, because she's told me that some people have been sending them in.
Right. So I have one question from the chat. It says, this says, during the activity pass the paper, what are the other kids doing while the one student is writing for 1 to 5 minutes?
Okay, the other students are, I used all my games. You can use any games you have in the classroom. You can make up your own games. I use that. Plus the other thing that I would have them do is the writing sheet where they can be writing your haiku poems. They could be doing that. I had one teacher tell me she has boxes lined up on the windowsill. On Zoom, she sends them home and she tells the parents, put these on the windowsill. If everyone is doing one thing and they have a few minutes, they can write a haiku poem. They could be doing, let me get you the other sheet. Okay, how many words? They can be working on their list. They could be working on their paper chains. And then there's another thing which if you go, I don't know if we have a whole series of creative thinking workbooks, and we have them now. You can download them and use them in between children and while they're working on it. There's a lot of different activities to keep the other kids engaged, so they're not running around the room. Okay, thank you, whoever sent that in. Laura, are there any other questions?
Let me see. So I guess, how would I incorporate these suggestions into my teaching?
Okay, into the teaching, as I said, some people do the actual, they have the whole reading program. But if you're just going to buy a few of the things, or just take what you got from today, or you create whatever you have, all of these really embellish lessons, because you could start off every morning just singing the song, and the class can decide, what should we sing today? Should we do diphthongs? Should we sing, when let's go, I learned my diphthongs, ooh, and you go through ow, oi, and go through all your different your diphthongs, because they're hard for the kids to do. Those are tough ones, those vowel diphthongs, the OU, and do that with them. Bingo. Just Friday afternoons, every Friday afternoon, or it could be every Wednesday afternoon, or you start the morning with, let's all play bingo. You can just, at any time, figure out your own lesson plans and when you can incorporate any of these activities. Thank you also for that. Anything else?
I have one last question.
Okay.
So someone submitted this question. I'm a reading teacher and one of the students is now in 4th grade and still can't read. I feel that he is comfortable with me and his peers. He's been on Wilson for the past 2 years and really hasn't progressed. The other kids in the group are progressing. Any ideas on how to help him?
Okay. I happen to like Wilson. I think I like a lot of the programs out there. Part of the problem that I've seen, because I seem to get a lot of these children, a lot of calls. These children have been in Wilson since 1st grade and they're in 4th grade. I think the teaching is great. It does. I think we're losing them with that engaging, and then we're losing them with once they're engaged, keeping them engaged, and especially the ones that I've been seeing It's the dyslexic children or the struggling kids who have ADD or ADHD. It's the keeping them engaged, and it's just playing the games. Play the games and keep reassessing. And then if they're already older, let them be part of it. Say, today we're doing CVC. Let's see how you are at the beginning. And I've done this. They take about 15 minutes a game. And you take, at the beginning of the session, I give them a list of words. And remark, I said, you can get every single one wrong. Then we play the games. And I said, we're trying to learn the words. Okay, we're going to see at the end. They are competitive. A lot of these kids are competitive. And they can't stay in a sport where you have to compete with the whole team, especially the ADD, but they're still competitive. And it's themselves against themselves. They want to see what they know by the end. And they will stay with you, but you hold them because you're playing the bingo, you're playing the card games. By them selecting the game, you select if they need vowel diagrams or control. You select where they are on the level. And then you say to them, what do you want to play? There's one tutor that works for us, and he said he only plays war. That's the other thing that changed since the video. Every deck of cards, you can play over 15 different games, and the children select the game. You've got to get him engaged and to stay with you, and give him the power of selecting what he wants to do. Okay.
I have one final question.
Oh, okay.
Last question.
Okay.
Do you like OG for dyslexic students?
I think the children need the tools. They need OG, Orton Gillingham. It's a methodology that these two doctors started back in the 1940s. And they saw these children are pretty bright. They realized they're missing the phonics. The children that I've worked with, and I've been working here over 40 years with dyslexic kids, they don't have those phonics and they don't have the tools. So it's really so hard for them because they have nothing, they don't know where to go. So absolutely, you need OG. The child who picks up reading immediately, they can go to any program in any district, they're gonna start to read. Okay, they're gonna start on their own. We're working today, this is for children with struggling and dyslexia. Absolutely, they need that, they need it. But it becomes dry. So I have children come to me, they know every single rule. They know every rule. And then you go to apply it. I had a 10th grade boy sitting here one day. I thought he was going to explode. He's reading. And all of a sudden he got to the word, it was stick. Stick, S-T-I-C-K. And he's sitting and he's pounding the table. He could not retrieve it. And once we got the anxiety down, it's okay, let's just take it apart. But he had the Orton Gillingham. Okay, so we knew you take the ST. Is it going to be a longer, short vowel? Well, it's going to be short. He had the rule because it's not a vowel digraph. There's no magic E. It's between two consonants. And I said, okay, you know it. What is the sound of the short I? And he had to relax because I guess you'll know as soon as you get anxious, those dendrites shrink. You're done. You can't think. Okay, so he finally went, eh. I said, what's CK? And we divided it. I said, now push it together. He went, st, eh, k. And then he went, oh. And he goes, why? What's wrong with me? I said, you're dyslexia. There's nothing wrong with you. That's okay. We all have different things. You just need time. They need time and they need the tools. And the only way, it's a phonics program. And it's any phonics, all the Wilson, PAF, what I'm doing, they're all phonics programs. I incorporate a lot of these sight words into it, and I do it with this family so they become part of it because the emotional piece is so tough. A lot of these poor kids with dyslexia, that isn't even the problem as much as the anxiety and the emotional piece that gets into it. So, okay, anything else?
Well, I think that is all the time we have for today. I want to thank you, Dr. Silbert, so much for, hosting this amazing webinar with us. I think I can speak for everyone saying that we have learned so much with you. Thank you so much, and we hope to see you again soon. Take care.
Thank you.